Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are Premier League champions. It still sounds really nice to say. Even in June, it sounds really nice to say. Not a whole lot going on transfer-wise at the moment. It's all gone a little bit quiet. The updates on Wirtz and Kerkez is that there aren't really any updates. There's, these micro updates that the likes of Romano and Ben Jacobs and all these other spoofers kind of live on because clickbait is king for these people. But there's nothing really happening at the moment, just negotiations continue to go on. It's expected that both deals will get done without any real complications. It's just about figuring out structures of deals and exact price points on both players. And look, it's early June. There's no rush to get these deals done. It's the 3rd of June. They can happen at any point, really. I mean, both of them want the move. Both of them have made the commitment to the move, and it sounds like personal terms are agreed with both players. So it is just a matter of making sure we get a good deal for the club. And given we have a lot to do this summer, it's important that we don't overspend on individuals and leave ourselves short in a different position. In terms of outgoings, Kelleher to Brentford looks like a done deal. And I think it's a great deal, to be honest. Look, people will be annoyed that the price is a little bit lower. We were never getting the 30 million that people talked about. Not for a goalkeeper with so little Premier League experience. And it's not like a thing that Queeving has, 150 Premier League games or even 150 games for Liverpool in general. He just doesn't have that level of experience. He has played 67 senior games, 25 of them in the Premier League. Now, he does have some Champions League experience as well, of course. But he is quite an inexperienced goalkeeper. That's less than 2 seasons worth of games with the 67 total. He does also have 22 caps for Ireland, so now you're looking at 89 games. Again, for a goalkeeper, 38 league games a season is 76, plus the 2 cups. I mean, you would do that in 2 seasons at a decent club. So, inexperience is a factor. He's also, he's not a kid anymore. Queeving Kelleher will be 27 in November, which is still young for a goalkeeper, but it's not like he's 22. You look at someone, say, like James Trafford at Burnley, who he's been talked about potentially going to Newcastle or going to Chelsea this summer. Now, he'll turn 23 in October. He's played 158 senior games. Now, some of them are at League One, of course. He was on loan at Bolton for a couple of years. He was on loan at Accrington Stanley. Played a full season in the Championship this year. But he's still a much more experienced goalkeeper than Kelleher at club level. And he'll be 23 in October. So, unfortunately for Queeving, he's been at a club that has had a great goalkeeper. His entire career, Liverpool have had Alisson. And that's both a help in that you're learning from the best, but it's also a hindrance in that you're not going to play ahead of him unless he's injured or it's a cup game. Queeving also only had 1 year left on his deal. So that's a factor as well. That maybe knocks 5 million off the deal. Maybe we would have gotten 22, 23 million inclusive of add-ons. But with a year left, it is what it is. And look, it's vital that we kept him for this past season because he played a big role in helping us win the league. It's only 10 league appearances this past season, but it was a key run where he came in, where Alisson got hurt against Crystal Palace. And then we faced that crazy run with Chelsea and Arsenal and City and Newcastle and Brighton, Bayer Leverkusen, Real Madrid, Brighton in the Cup. Now, he didn't play in that one. Yaros did. But he played in all the rest of them. And we went unbeaten. We went unbeaten in that run. We won most of them. Arsenal away and Newcastle away. The only two we didn't win in that run. And people were predicting that our downfall would come within that run. And Queeving stepped up and was really, really impressive. The highlight, of course, being the penalty save against Kylian Mbappe. The low light being the mistake he made against Newcastle, but ultimately it wasn't a costly error in the context of the full season. He goes now to a club who have, I think, proven themselves to be one of the best run clubs in the league over the last 4 seasons or however long they've been in the division. They've got an outstanding manager in Thomas Frank, a really good owner in Matthew Benham. They've built a new stadium. They live within their means. There's a lot of talented players. And look, it's obvious they're going to lose Brian and Bomo. They may lose Johan Vissa as well. But he'll walk into a team that's got 2 really good centre-backs. Nathan Collins, who's 24 years of age, plays with Queeving at international level, so those two know each other really well. They've got Sepp Vandenberg. He knows him as well. They were at the club together. He was really impressive this past season. Aaron Hickey is there, so they've got a good young left back, 22 years of age. They signed Michael Coyote, the Italian right back. He's 20 years of age. He'll be 21 this summer. So you've got a back 4 who are 21, 22, 23, and 24. That's a back 4 that could potentially be together for a few years. You've still got Christopher Ayer there. He's a valuable player to them. You've got Ben Mee. You've got Rico Henry, Ethan Pinnock. So there's a good defensive group there. You've got a decent group of midfielders. Christian Norgard, obviously a quality player. Mikkel Damsgaard is a quality player. Matthias Jensen's a quality player. And they have Vitaly Janolt as well. So again, like really strong midfield group. So he's going to go into a team with a decent base. They will need work in attack, but they spent a fortune on Igor Thiago last summer, and he barely played all season because of injury. The hope will be he stays fit for this season ahead, and he could be a pretty big deal for them. They're very high on him. Kevin Schade took significant steps forward this past season, so they'll be excited to have him. And then maybe Gustavo Nunes, maybe Fabio Carvalho, 2 players that they bought last summer who didn't make a big impact this past season. Maybe one of them steps up. And they'll buy more. Like, they will buy more players. So I think that's a really good situation for Kelleher to be going into. He's definitely a big upgrade on Mark Flecken. Not really sure why Leverkusen are signing Mark Flecken, to be completely honest. But I think Kelleher is a big upgrade there. So even with Mbomo going, even if Vissa goes, still a good group of players. Still a lot of talent there. I didn't mention Keane Lewis Potter. I didn't mention Yunus Emery Kamak. There's good players there. I think he's going to do well there as well. And I think it'll help the fact that he knows Nathan Collins really well. He'll know Sepp Vandenberg. They'll help him get settled in. And with Thomas Frank, I mean, he just does such a good job every single season. I think this is going to be a great move for Queeving Kelleher. And it might not be his last move either. Like, he could go there, excel for a year or two, and maybe then he gets the move that people suggested he might, like a Chelsea, a Newcastle. I thought the Newcastle move would have made sense for him, because obviously they need a new goalkeeper, because Nick Pope has been injury prone and he's inconsistent. I thought Villa could have made sense for him if Emi Martinez leaves. But there'd be a lot of pressure going to those clubs. There'll be less pressure at Brentford. It's a good group of players to kind of grow with, especially that defensive core. And the move to Newcastle or Villa or whoever could still be there for him in a year or two. And as this piece by Jack Lusby says, he'd outgrown his role at Liverpool. He'd gotten to the point where he was never going to be good enough to be first choice for Liverpool because Alisson has set a new standard for what that means. It's not like it's, Simon Mignolet is the number one. But with respect to Mignolet, the standard was a very different thing when he was playing. But he was too good to be a backup. Kelleher had outgrown being a backup with the club, and we'd seen what he was capable of doing. So it makes all the sense for him to move. That's a really good move from and fair play. Liverpool to make first official bid for Milos Kerkez as Man City move on. So Man City are targeting Rayan Nuri, and it's now being claimed that Liverpool will make their first official bid. But it is from the Eye. And Mark Douglas is a solid enough reporter, but he's not exactly your go-to guy for transfer news. What else do we have here? Liverpool goalkeepers quietly signed new contract, could be set for step up. Oh, it's Harvey Davies. Harvey Davies is signing an extension. I'd expect him to go into next season as the number 3. I think Yaros probably heads out on loan. Davies is the number 3 behind Mamardashvili and Ali. And then after that, maybe Yaros gets sold. Maybe Davies gets sold. Who knows? We'll see what happens. A lot of it will depend on how long Harvey wants to stay at the club without, getting a real look in. How long Yaros wants to do the loan thing. How long Ali wants to stay at the club. Because, if Ali left, say, next summer, then Mamardashvili becomes number 1. Yaros is the obvious number 2. But Harvey Davies is still kind of stuck in that number 3. Federico Chiesa open to AC Milan or Juventus moves. He admits he has something to think about. Yeah, look, Max Allegri is now gone to Milan. Allegri and Chiesa were very close when they were together at Juve. So it's obvious to look at that and say, well, he might like a player that he's got good familiarity with. There's no denying Chiesa is a good player. It's just, for whatever reason, he never quite got going this season. Liverpool youngster Lucas Stevenson enhanced his reputation on loan at Dundee United last season and is confirmed to have interest in a new transfer. So Jim Goodwin, who is the Dundee United manager, has said he wants to bring him back. This is obviously still under contract. Liverpool will just have to wait and see what happens next. Ultimately, he's not going to make the grade at Liverpool. He's a solid player without doubt, but again, the standard is so high that it's just not going to work out for him. And he did really well in Scotland. And a lot of our players who don't make the grade with us do tend to prefer to maybe go and try their hand in the Scottish Premiership if the alternative is maybe League One. So if he's done well there and he's happy there, maybe he just goes back there. I don't imagine the club would be against the idea of selling him. Stefan Bestetic could be available for transfer this summer as the Liverpool midfielder is reportedly attracting plenty of interest. Okay. So obviously he had the failed loan with Pep and Linders at Salzburg. He went to Las Palmas. It was very up and down. Some good performances, some bad performances, and some performances where the team around him in general were just so abysmal that he just spent his games chasing the ball and not really getting anywhere close because his teammates weren't helping him. I would imagine if there's a good offer comes in, he'll be sold. There isn't really an obvious future for him at the club. So you'd imagine if a good offer comes in, he will move on. Liverpool journalist claims progress made in talks. I believe it was the Liverpool Echo that claimed that there'd been progress in the Konate contract negotiations, and hopefully there has been, and hopefully that will get done. Luis Diaz is obviously being linked with multiple clubs in Saudi and Barcelona. I don't know that Barcelona have the money unless they make a big sale. Ben Doak to Everton, transfer links intensify. I'm curious to see what happens with him this year. Seemingly he didn't want to stay at the club last summer and just be a squad player. So I'm not sure he'd be interested in doing that this summer either. I'm sure we'd sell him at the right price, but we do have a high price set from him. The only knock is he's missed the end of both of the last 2 seasons with season-ending surgeries. And obviously, this past season, that was quite a significant surgery. So we'll see. We'll see. Certainly a talented player. Everton linked heavily with him. And I wonder, is there some sort of deal that could be worked out there? What else is there? Oh, David Ornstein reported that Arne Slot held courtesy talks with Rayan Cherki and his agent. Arne Slot will meet with probably 20 players this summer. We're not going to sign 20 players, but we'll do it out of courtesy. We'll do it in part to build relationships, to maybe keep that player and his agent specifically close, so that in the future, if that player develops into somebody we might want, there's already an existing relationship. But I don't think there's ever any chance we were going to waste money on Rayan Cherki.
Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at anfieldindexpro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.